Welcome to Rogers Center. Brandon Morrow set to take on the Kansas City Royals. Morrow with 12 strikeouts his last time out in just 6 innings. He threw 110 pitches, and he was absolutely dominant, as the rest of the starters have been over their last time through.
Look what they have done the last time through. A combined ERA just over 1. They're giving length to that starting rotation that give the bullpen a little bit of a blow. The earned runs, Morrow just gave up the 1 earned run in the 6 innings. Romero's been outstanding over his last 40 innings. He's only given up 14 hits. Cecil is doing the same thing. And how about the 2 young kids, Henderson Alvarez and Luis Perez? The same type of pitcher, one right-handed, one left-handed, but they're power arms with power sinkers, and they were both great their last time out.
Well, Brandon Morrow against his former team last time out, the Seattle Mariners, he was dominant, as good as I have seen him, because not only did he have the fastball, but the breaking pitch was working for him.
And that's the one thing that Jose Molina was telling me before the ball game today, that he felt like he needed another pitch, a curveball, something to take the hitters off of his fastball, which was great. He had great control. He was throwing about 97 miles an hour. He was in and out, painting with that fastball in and out. But then you start dropping that curveball and that wipeout slider that he has, you're going to have those type of games. The double strikeouts that Moore had, 12 strikeouts in that game. It was sensational.
4th time that Brandon Morrow's had double-digit strikeouts this season. Let's take on the Kansas City Royals. Makes his 4th career start against Kansas City. The starting lineup is brought to you by TD Canada Trust. Banking can be this comfortable. Alex Gordon, Melky Cabrera, Billy Butler top the order. Rookie Eric Hosmer hitting cleanup for Ned Yost. Jeff Francoeur, Johnny Giovatelli, another offensive rookie in this lineup, playing at second base. Keep your eye on Salvador Perez, a terrific defensive catcher with a great arm. He's back behind the plate. Mike Moustakas, minor league player of the year last year, and Alcides Escobar rounds out the lineup.
Young players up and down the lineup for the Royals. We've been hearing about them for a couple of years, and they're all here in the big leagues now. And that's the lineup that Brandon Morrow will face as he takes the mound for his 23rd start of the season. Coming off a big start, the one we were just talking about in Seattle. That was a season-high 12 strikeouts that he had while giving up just 3 hits in those 6 innings. He has now struck out 10 or more batters 4 times this season and leads the major leagues with 10.45 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is outstanding. He will be facing the Royals for the 2nd time this year. He picked up a no decision on June the 6th as the Blue Jays lost that game 3-2 in 11 innings.
Defensively behind Brandon Morrow, it'll be Thames, Rasmussen, Bautista in the outfield. You know, Escobar returns after a couple of days off. He had Sunday off and then the off day yesterday. He should be fresh and ready to go. Mike McCoy starting at second base. Aaron Hill, as you know, has been traded. Brett Laurie at third. Adam Lynn back in the lineup. He got hit by a pitch, could not answer the bell on Sunday. But Mike McCoy will make his 9th start at second base here tonight.
And this will be very interesting tonight. The Blue Jays playing with just 2 players on their bench because of that trade that was announced around 3:30 this afternoon. And there's Adam Lynn. He'll have a wrap on that right wrist after being plunked by Gio Gonzalez over the weekend.
Just above that knob on his wrist, but he said he's good to go. He actually took some swings Sunday morning, but felt that he couldn't really be 100% and get in the lineup, so he has had 2 days off as well. We are set for play on a perfect night here at Rogers Center. Kansas City and the Blue Jays, they've split the 4 games they have played so far. Alex Gordon, former #1 pick, former 3rd baseman, now moved to the outfield, and boy, has he adapted well.
He certainly has. Extra base power, hitting .297 when he was drafted. It looked like he was going to be a middle of the lineup type of hitter, but they put him in that leadoff spot, and he's been great.
First pitch strike from Morrow. Ned Yost talked about Gordon. He said probably he's best suited to hit 5th in the lineup, but right now he's our best leadoff guy, kind of like Escobar for the Blue Jays.
.369 on base percentage for Gordon. Lots of extra base hits.
Went from 5 for 15 in the Boston series. Had 4 extra base hits, had 3 doubles and a home run. Now, the one thing that Morrow was so good last time out at was spotting that fastball, and he spots it at a different level than everybody else because it's 95 to 97, but his location with that fastball was terrific.
When it's down, and when it's down and away to the right-handers or the left-handers, it's almost impossible to hit.
Fastball up and away. First strikeout of the night for Brandon Morrow.
And that's another thing he can do. He can climb the ladder. The scouting report for Brandon Morrow is brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Well, the first one. Here comes the heat. More fastballs. He'll challenge hitters. You mentioned the 97, 98 mile an hour heater. First pitch strikes. It was better last time out. 14 of the 24 batters versus Seattle were first pitch strikes. And I think Brandon Morrow needs quicker at bats. The Ks are great, but it really runs up your pitch count.
There's a good strike to Melky Cabrera. Boy, Cabrera's had a good year. 303 average, 16 homers, and 74 driven in, and he's been good from both sides of the plate. Switch hitter batting left-handed against Brandon Morrow. Boston shut him down dramatically. He was just 1 for 16 in the Boston series. Despite that, he's still hitting .333 over his last 29 games. Ed Yost has really been pleased with the way Cabrera has been able to swing the bat all year long.
Yeah, put him in that number 2 slot. Get a lot of fastballs hitting in front of the big thumpers for the Royals. But what's impressive with him is his defense. It's been great.
Probably best suited to play left or right, but he has done a terrific job in center field. And he's got that pedigree. Comes from the Yankees and played with the Braves, and he understands that there is some work to be done here in Kansas City. 2-2. Well, right there, Pat. If I were a catcher and saw that swing, there is nothing but Cabrera would get other than fastballs.
Little tardy on that last fastball from Morrow. That's the thing about him. The ball gets on you very quickly. If you start looking for something off speed, as you see they want another fastball away, you're going to strike out.
And you cannot, as a hitter, just all of a sudden decide, I'm going to swing quicker. It doesn't work.
I don't know what the plan would be. You know, do you look for the fastball and just adjust against Morrow, or do you just eliminate the breaking ball until he shows that he can throw it over?
Yeah, you don't have a 91 mile an hour swing, a 95 mile an hour swing, and a 98 mile an hour swing. You got one swing you got to work with. Defensive swing, big bounce for Mike McCoy, 2 down.
Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Another red-hot hitter for Kansas City is Billy Butler. He had a 9-game hit streak snapped on Sunday when he went 0 for 3. Fastball just missed the inside corner. Butler's one of those guys that always going to hit about 300. 290 to 305 range. Doesn't have the kind of power you'd like to see from a DH, but boy, can he hit. Pops this one up. Jose Bautista in right. Quick inning for Brandon Morrow. Jose Bautista has been on fire with the bat. He'll bat third when we come back to Rogers Center. In a 7-game homestand here against Kansas City and Tampa Bay, Yunel Escobar back in the top of the order. Eric Thames holding his own at 268. Jose Bautista, that home run in Sunday's game, a 1-0 win for the Jays. Adam Lynn back in the lineup. Encarnacion has been as good as anybody since the All-Star break. Colby Rasmus, Brett Loy, Jose Molina, and Mike McCoy starting at second base tonight.
That's the lineup that Bruce Chen takes to the mound. The veteran left-hander will try to win 4 consecutive starts for the first time in his career after he beat the Yankees last time out. 6 strong innings versus New York. He threw strikes and challenged the Yankees all night long. For his career, Chen is 3-2 in 7 starts versus the Jays. But he hasn't faced them since 2006, and his last start against Toronto was back in 2005 when he was a member of the Baltimore Orioles.
We talk about so many of the young position prospects. The Royals still trying to put together a effective starting staff. Yunel Escobar not wasting any time, goes after the first pitch. Yunel had a tough road trip. He has never hit well in Oakland, hitting under 100 for his career in Oakland, so he is thrilled to be back in this ballpark.
You can say that about a lot of people.
Drives this one to right. Jeff Francoeur backs up, makes the catch.
No fun hitting in Oakland, especially night games. Scouting report for Bruce Chen. It's a contrast in style. We talk about Morrow and the great fastball. Well, this is not an overpowering fastball, just 88 miles an hour. He's got a good sinker. It's about command and control with Bruce Chen. Just 37 walks this season. And get it airborne if you're a Blue Jays. A fly-ball pitcher. He's given up 14 home runs in under 100 innings this year.
First pitch changeup to Eric Thames. Hard bouncing ball. Big hop for Gio Vitale at second, and there are 2 quick outs. Jose Bautista won the game 1-0 with 1 swing of the bat.
That's 2 years in a row now that Bautista won a 1-0 game with a home run, and I love how he stayed back on that ball. Kept the weight back, kept the hands back, and then exploded when that breaking ball finally crossed the plate. Bautista is starting to heat up once again.
8 for 18 on the road trip, batting .318. Major League leading 36 home runs. First pitch strike.
And he has had success against Bruce Chen in his career. There's the 7-game hit streak number for Bautista. 11 walks to go along with those 3 home runs.
How difficult is it for a batter to take that many pitches and still have good at bats?
I don't know how he does it. I really don't. Usually you'll take the home runs and then you have to go with strikeouts. But he's got such a great eye at the plate. He doesn't chase bad pitches. He has an idea. Very intelligent hitter when he is at the dish. Sometimes you have to trade the strikeouts for the home runs, but not with this guy.
2-1. Pops this one up a mile high, center of the diamond. Shortstop Alcides Escobar takes command and makes the out. An 8-pitch first inning for Bruce Chen. They are scoreless after 1. at twitter.com/Blue Jays. Answer Blue Jays trivia to win prizes. Submit your questions on Twitter to @BlueJays, and we could choose yours as the Twitter question of the game. The Blue Jays currently have 57,000 followers, and Blue Jays would like to thank them all for their support. That's a little light in my mind. I think we need about 75,000, 80,000 followers. So let's get to work here and get on Twitter and connect with the Blue Jays.
I think we can go even higher.
100? Shoot for 100,000.
Minimum 100.
Kind of like a Brandon Morrow fastball. Eric Hosmer, the rookie first baseman, and he's a good-looking young player. 268 average with 10 homers. 92 upstairs, 0-2.
Hosmer got up to a great start, and then pitchers started pitching him a little bit differently. They've elevated the fastball against him, and the one pitch that he has had some trouble with, especially from the right-handers, that slider that's been getting underneath his bat.
Again, late on the fastball. Last time out, Brandon Morrow 3-hit the Seattle Mariners over 6 innings. And he had a little bit of a rough spot middle of the outing. Bruce Walton came to the mound and said, "What are you doing? These guys can't catch up to your fastball, and you're messing around with that other stuff." There's a slider down and in. But you know this as being a hitter. You get somebody that's throwing hard like this, and that's the last thing you want to see.
Do you know how you do know how demoralizing it is when a guy throws a fastball right by you and continually throws the fastball by you?
Peel down at third. Scott Perry said no swing.
You know what you say to yourself? You go, well, if I can't hit the fastball, I have no chance against the off-speed pitches.
Yeah, that's the one thing everybody thinks they can do. Is everybody thinks they can hit a fastball, and most guys can. But then Brandon Morrow's fastball's in another league. 2-2. That's drilled to center field. Rasmus backing up on it. We'll look up and watch this one sail into the seats. Home run, Eric Hosmer. Number 11 on the season, and the Royals have taken a 1-0 lead, and Brandon Morrow is not too pleased about that.
Well, Hosmer can handle the ball away from him. Again, he's been having trouble recently with sliders going underneath his bat, and pitchers have been crowding him with the fastball. And it looked like they wanted this ball away, and they didn't get it away. Got it right down the middle of the plate, and good hitters are not going to miss those. No doubt about it. Excuse me, Buck.
Long way to center field, and Kansas City jumps out to an early lead. Jeff Francoeur drives it to the gap in right center. Colby Rasmus plays it on a hop. Francoeur jumps on the first pitch. He saves a slider and hits the double to right center.
What a year it has been for Jeff Francoeur. Comes over to Kansas City, and it shows the type of talent that Francoeur had when he was first drafted by the Atlanta Braves. Came up to the big leagues at a very young age. Shows power, speed, a good defender. First pitch swinging, they want the ball away once again, and it hangs over the middle of the plate. Francoeur stays right with it. This is double number 38. As neither Bautista or Rasmus can run it down.
Well, that was a perfect description of that breaking ball, because it hung right over that outer half of the plate, and he went right with it. Johnny Giovitello, the second baseman, playing in his 17th game, already has a home run. Giovitello was tearing it up in the Pacific Coast League. He hit .338 in 110 games. And 153 hits. It was the most in the minor leagues. He has another one here. Francoeur coming toward third. He'll be stopped. No, Rasmus missed the ball. Francoeur was stopped at third by Eddie Rodriguez, the third base coach, and Colby Rasmus overran the ball.
Really no play anywhere on the bases. The ball wasn't hit hard enough to get out there. For some reason, Francoeur froze to make sure it got by the pitcher, so he didn't get a very good jump. Again, the ball wasn't hit very hard, so there wasn't going to be a play. Rasmus has it go off of his glove. It will be an error, his second. And you can see Francoeur, he was stopping and actually stopped, and then scored the second run of the inning after the error.
Yep, that was just a lack of concentration. Rasmus took his eye off the ball, and Francoeur had stopped, so he will come in on the air. Salvador Perez, a young catcher. Boy, he's a big, strong-looking young kid. His 11th game.
Tall, you mentioned it, about 6'4", with very quick feet. You don't see a whole lot of catchers this size.
Bouncing ball up the middle. That'll sneak under the glove of Escobar. Here comes Gio Vitella around third. Kansas City has jumped on Brandon Morrow here in the second. Perez just taking the ball back up the middle. It got under the glove of Escobar into center.
And actually helped Kansas City to score that run by slowing the ball down. Perez trying to move the runner will score him from second base right back through the middle, hitting just 194. This is his 4th RBI of the season as the ball is knocked down by Escobar. Slows it into center field, and that helps the runner to score easily.
Mike Moustakas. There's that curveball in for a strike. Well, Kansas City, they didn't get the memo about how good Brandon Morrow had been throwing the baseball. Home run, double, single, single. Moustakas, who certainly had a terrific year last year as a minor league player of the year, had an okay run at Omaha. They just wanted him to get off to a decent start, and then they called him up. He's hitting just 206, but starting to swing the bat much better.
Yeah, his game is about offense. You mentioned the big year that he had last year. Wanted to get him a full season in AAA, but with so many young players, they rushed him up here to the big leagues, and right now he's a better fielder than a hitter. And in the minor leagues, it was just the opposite. No more as a hitter than a fielder.
Now he's got the count in his favor, 3-1. Still nobody out here in the second. Moustakas has a 5-game hit streak. He's 8 for 16 over those 5 games. And there's a walk. First 5 to go to the plate here in the second have reached base.
After a 1-2-3 first inning, a very quick hitting for Brandon Morrow, things are starting to come undone right here. Number 9 hitter Escobar coming up. I wouldn't be surprised to see him bunt, try and get a couple of more runs on the board. Blue Jays had a good road trip into Seattle and Oakland. They went 4-3 on a road trip after they gave the first game away. They went into the 8th inning with a lead. Molina didn't hesitate as he shot out from behind home plate. Must have been something with the signs that he didn't like, and he didn't waste any time going to the mound. Kansas City leads it 3-0. 4 hits and a walk in this inning. Brandon Morrow had a 1-2-3 first and looked like he was off to the same start he's had against Seattle. No sign. There's the bunt. Escobar pulled the bat back. And it's a ball, so a lot of options now for Ned Yost, the manager of the Kansas City Royals. They can continue to bunt. Escobar will take that one shot where he'll try and pull the ball and get extra bases, but his game is going the other way.
Showing bunt again, and he takes another ball. Boy, the wheels have come off for Brandon Morrow here in the second.
For me, it was like that one pitch to Hosmer. They wanted the ball away. It caught too much of the plate, and he drills it into the seats for the home run, and he hasn't been able to figure it out.
Well, and you saw his frustration after that ball went out of the ballpark, and it's something we don't see an awful lot in Brandon Morrow. 3-0. There's a strike. Still nobody out. Escobar is the 6th man to bat here in the second. strike two.
Yeah, what he's got to be thinking about right now is, how am I going to get an out? Stop the bleeding, if you will. Get a pop-up, get a strikeout, get a ground out, anything. Just get an out somewhere.
Hosmer and Giovitella have already scored. Fouled back. Alcides Escobar having another good at bat. He took a while to really put himself in the hands of Kevin Seitzer, but that's been something lately that's paid off for him.
And if he listens to Seitzer, he reminds me of the type of hitter Seitzer was. Hit the ball the other way, get some power. If you make a mistake, he can hurt you with an extra base hit.
He drives this ball into center field. Perez tagging it second. Rasmus will get it back, will throw it. Double clutched, and Perez stays at second. One out.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
First out of the inning, Brandon Morrow checking on the infield defense. See who's got coverage at second. Back to the top of the order, Alex Gordon. Struck out to start the game. He was overmatched with a Brandon Morrow fastball. We haven't seen that same fastball since.
That was a good idea right there. Throw an off-speed pitch in a fastball count. Gordon comes in here looking for a fastball. He's going to try and uncork one into the seat. So Morrow crossed him up, threw him a changeup, looking for that ground ball.
There's a good fastball. After Cole Erasmus double clutched in center field, Bautista came over. Just a word of encouragement. Rasmus made an error earlier in the game, and then it looked like he wasn't sure what he wanted to do on that throw back to the infield.
Where they wanted to throw it. And he double clutched, but got it in. The runners do not advance. Keep the double play in order.
Cut on and missed. Gordon strikes out for a second time. 2 down here in the second inning.
Morrow has that ability when he gets himself in trouble. That looked like the curveball, a pitch that he resurrected in his last start. Used it a lot more. Picks up a big out.
First and second, 2 outs now. Melky Cabrera hit a weak ground ball to second his first time. There's a fastball down and away. Late movement on that fastball had Cabrera fooled.
I've always believed that Brandon Morrow needs to pitch off of his fastball. You have to put that fear in the batters that you could pitch off your fastball. Once you establish that you can throw it where you want to, you can get them out with other pitches.
Breaking ball. You saw Molina jump to the outside very late. Obviously concerned about Kansas City chipping location, possible pitch. Watch the shift.
Yeah, and that's a catcher out at second base. He fakes like he's going inside, and then right at the last minute when Morrow is in his windup, he shifts to the outside so that runner at second base can't flash location to that batter.
And then he threw a breaking ball, which really confused the situation. Another breaking ball, but a high one, and Cabrera is late. And with the catcher sliding inside, more often than not, that suggests fastball. So Molina slid to the inside, hoping that if they were tipping, he would relay that to Cabrera, and then he called a breaking ball away.
He tried to backdoor him.
"31 pitches in this inning for Brandon Morrow. Well, what a difference in his delivery from the first inning to the second.
Yeah.
Inconsistent release point, and obviously the command has suffered.
Inconsistent turn, I think, also. With his body, he's got an exaggerated turn when he stands over that rubber.
That slider came out of his hand and just sailed up and away. Full count, 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. Infielders are reminded you got to go across the diamond. Perez at second. Moustakas hit first. 3-2. Kansas City has scored 3 here in the second. There go the runners. Cut on and missed. Cabrera strikes out. Brandon Morrow bounces back with a couple of strikeouts, but Kansas City scores 3 runs on 4 hits. The curveball comes back for Morrow, and he gets out of the inning. You can win amazing prizes from Sharp, including Canada's largest LCD TV, a 70-inch Sharp Aquos. Enter online at hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp makes bigger, better. Good to see Adam Lind back in the lineup, and he really was fortunate. He got hit on a tough pitch from Gio Gonzalez on Saturday afternoon, right above that knob of your wrist bone. And it was very painful. He said when he first got hit, he said, okay, well, that's not that bad. And they took a couple steps, and it really hurt. And he did not play in yesterday's game. There's that wrap that Pat was talking about.
How many times have you seen a player get hit right on that wrist, and it's broken? He came with a couple of inches of getting hit there and possibly ending a season.
That's the first pitch breaking ball from Bruce Chin. Blue Jays got some work to do. Find themselves down 3-0 in the second. Adam Lind is capable of starting something, especially against Kansas City.
Yeah, he loves facing Kansas City. How about the defense they're going to throw up at Lind? They're going to throw him soft stuff, and the right side of the infield is going to play deep.
Gio Vitello, the second baseman, in shallow right field. 0-2. That breaking ball off the plate. Bruce Chin picks up his first strikeout. He's retired the first 4 he's faced tonight.
Chin, a lefty, it just doesn't really blow the ball by you. He's been around a long time. He has pitched for multiple teams. And right now, all he's doing, he's saying, is he's challenging hitters. He knows his defense is a lot better. They play a much better inner defense than they did last year. And he's making them put the ball in play.
Slow curveball. First strike to Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin's the DH again tonight. He played first base on Saturday. Excuse me, on Sunday he played first when Lind was out of the lineup. There's a pop-up out of play. Encarnacion, just like Lind, has put up big numbers against Kansas City. Well, Salvador Perez, you take a look at the big guy behind the plate. But boy, does he present a nice target.
He's all legs, isn't he? You see, pitchers like to throw right to the top of the shin guard.
Back-to-back strikeouts here in the second inning. The fastball gets Encarnacion.
That's one of the things that Chen will do. He'll go soft, and if he humps it up, it's not that fast, but it looks like it's about 95 after all the slow stuff. That time, Edwin Encarnacion just a little tardy. But you're right about Perez. He gives a good target. He's got good hands. He's got quick feet. I was watching him today throwing during their extra batting practice, and he's got one heck of an arm.
Pretty soft hands, too, as he corrals that outside pitch. Colby Rasmus. Season numbers between the Cardinals and the Jays, a combined 116 games. Rasmus hit 2 of the longest home runs the Blue Jays have hit this year, both on the last road trip. One in Seattle, and the one he hit in Oakland was a monster. Little change up for a strike. Chen will throw you anything, anytime. He is very unpredictable. He has confidence to throw any pitch over.
He's got a slider and a sinker. A curveball and the changeup, and again, he's going to be around the plate.
Dropped down and missed the plate.
He got that when he was a player in the Blue Jays organization. He actually played for the Blue Jays minor league team back in 2004. His pitching coach was Gil Patterson.
Finds the outside corner.
Thought that would be a good idea. Time to drop down to give the lefties something else to think about.
Chen signed way back in 1994 as a non-drafted free agent by the Atlanta Braves. Full count, 2 outs. Slow breaking ball catches the outside corner, and Bruce Chen, we told you he'd won 3 straight, trying to make it 4 in a row. He strikes out the side in the second. He gets Lind, Encarnacion, and Rasmus. Night coming up this Thursday. At Blue Jays asks, which current Blue Jays were born in the 1990s? If you know the answer, send it to atbluejays.com. You could win an autographed baseball. 1990s, and there are actually 2 Blue Jays that were born in the 90s. So do your homework and tweet us the answer. You could win a big prize. Fly into center field. This ball is carrying. Rasmus on the track, makes a fine catch. Looked like he got surprised by how well that ball was carrying. That ball carried right to the warning track off the bat of Billy Butler. But Rasmus stayed with it.
He tracked it down, but the impressive part about this catch is where he catches it. It's almost like he reaches back over his head And the ball finds the glove. Tricked a little bit as that ball kept carrying, but that was the beauty of that catch.
Eric Hosmer homered over Rasmus Head earlier. At that time, Colby stayed with it and took extra bases away from Billy Butler. Showing bunt again. Rhett Lowry playing deep and to the pull side. He is well over near shortstop.
And not given an inch, too. You see him every time he goes back to his position. He's not coming in. If Eric Hosmer wants to bunt, go ahead and bunt.
You don't want your cleanup guy bunting too often.
That was just a little bit of a show, and Lowry was going to have nothing of it.
1-2. Inside. Had you mentioned the one pitch that Brandon Morrow threw to Hosmer was a fastball that was meant to be away, and he missed with it. After that, it looked like he kind of got out of sorts with himself.
Just a little bit out of sorts. They're going to go back out there. That time with a breaking ball, and John Hirschbeck doesn't like it.
Hirschbeck reminding Molina it's a full count. 1-out. Breaking ball, base hit. Eric Hosmer's 2 for 2. We saw him early on in his career. First time the Blue Jays were in Kansas City, and we were impressed at that point.
He's got a quick bat. Looked like another curveball. Pitch that was so effective for Brandon Morrow his last time out. He's got a quick bat. And he hits the ball to all fields. You saw what he could do his first time up, homering to center field.
Jeff Francoeur doubled on a slider his last time up. There's a fastball downstairs. Brandon Morrow hasn't really settled into that good delivery just yet. He had a good first inning, but since then he's really struggled to find a consistent release point.
And get the ball down. That's a strike, but it's thigh high. That last start he had in Seattle, when he wanted to climb the ladder and throw the ball up, he did it for a reason. But for the most part, his fastball was down, and it was down on the knees and on the corner. Tonight, he's right now fighting it to get it down.
Better location with that fastball, and Francoeur fouls it out of play. Jeff Francoeur's hit in now 15 of his last 19 games. And because he has played so well, as Pat mentioned, he signed an extension on Thursday, a 2-year contract extension that'll have in a Royals uniform the next 2 seasons.
He's an athlete. Coming out of high school, he had a chance to play college football, but chose to sign with the hometown Atlanta Braves. I'm surprised that they gave up on him so quickly.
Well, at that time, he was swinging at everything, and he just didn't look like he was ever going to figure things out at the plate. He came up and had such a great run that first half season. He came up in 2005, played 70 games, hit 300 with 14 homers and 45 RBI. Played every day the next 2 seasons and had a couple of good seasons, but then kind of lost his approach at the plate and chased everything. He and Brian McCann came up together through the system in Atlanta, and they stayed good friends. And McCann certainly learned how to make the adjustments at the plate, and Francoeur took him a little bit longer.
I think it's safe to say that he's made the adjustments. You look at his numbers. 15 home runs, 67 driven in coming into this game.
He rips that slider into left field. Another pitch that stayed up in the zone. Francoeur's 2 for 2.
And that was the whole key. The ball was up. His slider doesn't have the bite to it that we have seen before. It stays up and it just spun over the plate. Francoeur hits it off the end of the bat and just gets it out of the reach of Escobar.
Second baseman Johnny Giavotella. Giavotella had a single and an RBI his first time up. This is not unusual. When a pitcher is having a little bit of a rough night, there's a lot of doubt in his mind, and sometimes he forgets what sign we're using, what system we're using, and you've got to go out and explain things and just try to help him get through it. Kevin Seitzer's hitters have done a pretty good job early on. Top three in the order have gone 0 for 6, but from then on down, they have figured out Brandon Morrow.
They put together good at bats, very patient hitters. It's not a team that's got a lot of power. Kansas City Royals. They've only hit 92 home runs all season long, but they play in Kauffman Stadium. It's a big ballpark, and their hitters generally use the whole ballpark. They can hit the ball from foul line to foul line.
That's a good hard breaking ball right there. That's one of the better ones we've seen so far tonight.
That's the Brandon Morrow slider that we have come to know. It looks like a fastball and it just disappears.
Kansas City is 6th in the American League in runs scored, but they do it without the benefit of a lot of home run hitters.
A lot of extra base hits. They have a lot of stolen bases. They're 2nd in the American League behind the Yankees of all people in stolen bases, just 2 behind New York.
Kansas City is 3rd in doubles. They're 2nd in triples, but 11th in home runs. 1-2, 1 out. Popped up. Shallow right. Bautista is there. 2 down. Blue Jays have a tendency to play down to their opposition. The last 17 games, Kansas City has really struggled. Their ERA near 5. They're hitting under 250. And the run differential, I think that's a great measure of how well you're playing. Yeah. It's -22.
-22 in those 17 games. They haven't been able to pitch it. You see just the 9 home runs again. And just 4-13. And they've had their troubles here in Toronto, have the Royals.
Blue Jays have won 9 of the last 11 games between these two teams in this ballpark. But tonight, Kansas City jumped on Brandon Morrow. Salvador Perez, the catcher, and this is a young team. Jeff Francis, the Canadian, has been one of the more stable pitchers for them.
We've been hearing about all these high draft picks for the last few years about the Royals and all their young players that will get to the big leagues eventually. Well, that time has come for the Royals. They're here and now they are learning on the job what it takes.
All of a sudden that slider is down where it should be. 1-2, 2 outs.
For a young player like a Salvador Perez who's never faced Brandon Morrow, that's got to be nasty. You have to respect that type of pitch.
2-2. When Brandon Morrow is throwing that slider the way he has the last 2 pitches, it's nasty on everybody. We have seen Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter take funny swings. Fastball, big bouncing ball to short, to flip for the force out. Brandon Morrow strands a pair, but Kansas City has reached him for 3 runs on 6 hits. Brett Lawrie will bat when we come back. He leads things off in the 3rd. reaction to the Aaron Hill, John McDonald trade, check out Sportsnet.ca. Shi Davidi, Mike Wilner, Scott Carson, and the Tower of Steve. They're all there. Sportsnet.ca has you covered. Off to the desert. That's where Aaron Hill and John McDonald are going. They're going to go there in exchange for Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson should be here tomorrow. As John Farrell described it, he's got some logistical things to take care of, packing up and moving from the Phoenix area to Toronto. Bruce Chen. Brett Lawrie leads things off. Takes the first pitch straight. Lawrie obviously getting his first look at a lot of these pitchers, and oftentimes he'll take that first pitch just to see what he's dealing with.
The speed, the release point from the pitcher, just to get an idea. He might do that at the first couple of at-bats, but we have watched him later in the game. If they throw him one of those little easy fastballs, he'll jump all over it.
Batting .327 for the season. Another strikeout. That's 4 in a row for Bruce Chen. One out here in the third. John Farrell will join us when we come back after this half inning, and he'll get his thoughts straight from the dugout. Always a pleasure to speak with the manager on Tuesdays. And right now, I'm sure he's trying to figure out Bruce Chen just the same way his hitters are.
Who is this guy? He came into this game with just 61 strikeouts. And he is dealing like Randy Johnson, 4 in a row via the strikeout.
Jose Molina making his 37th start here tonight. Bruce Chen has been on a roll. We mentioned that Pat said he's looking for his 4th straight win for the first time in his career.
Throwing a lot of strikes. The support has been good. Almost 6 runs a game for Bruce Chen, but he's been doing it by throwing a lot of strikes, mixing all his pitches, using all his pitches, and making the opposition put the ball in play.
We mentioned Chen signed in 1993 with the Atlanta Braves. He came to the big leagues with the Braves in '98, spent parts of 3 seasons in Atlanta, and then boy did he start a trip around the big leagues. Sidearm pitch is popped into shallow right. Hosmer ranging back makes a nice play. That's a tough play for a first baseman, going straight out to right. In case you're just joining us, Mike McCoy is making his 9th start at second base because earlier today it was announced Aaron Hill and John McDonald had been dealt to the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for Kelly Johnson.
What a shocker when we got here to the ballpark and we were getting ready to start our meeting and the word started spreading that Aaron Hill and McDonald had been traded. Good for them that they get a chance to be in a pennant race for Arizona. They are right there with the San Francisco Giants. And I know Johnny Mac will be missed by a lot of the fans here in Canada.
Very popular player and a very good player for the Blue Jays, but I tell you, I spoke to him, you spoke to him, he is some kind of excited. How about that? There's an indication of how good he is to the fans. Signed that autograph in the back of a jersey, but he was excited. He's going to go to Arizona and play every day. Stephen Drew, the regular shortstop, broke his ankle, and they tried to replace him with Willie Bloomquist, but that didn't work out. And we'll check with Alex Anthopoulos. Just a reminder, he's going to join us in the top of the 5th inning, and we'll get his thoughts about the trade. But the trade came together very quickly. Kevin Towers, the GM of Arizona, looking on the waiver wire, noticed a couple of names that intrigued him, and it was Hill and McDonald.
And that's nothing new for teams to put players through waivers after the July 31st trade deadline. Blue Jays do that early in the month just to get it over with. They put all their players through waivers.
Now, Jim Thome just went on waivers. He hit 600 home runs. No respect whatsoever. 1 and 2, 2 outs. upstairs, but McCoy laid off. Now, it's a process everybody goes through. You can still make trades, but the players that you trade have to clear waivers. Once they do that, then you're able to trade them anywhere. 2-2, 2 outs. Strike 3 call. Bruce Chen is on a roll. 5 strikeouts through 3 innings. The Blue Jays still haven't reached base. This time it's an inside pitch that gets Mike McCoy. In the second inning that allowed Kansas City to get to him.
You know what, Buck pitches up on the plate. They do a very good job of staying inside the baseball. They've got a very pronounced 2-strike approach where they're going to look out over the plate and some fastballs and some sliders that stayed up. You know, you look at the Hosmer home run, the 2-2 fastball that was away. Frank Crowe with a slider out over the plate for the double, and Perez did a good job of just keeping his hands inside the ball on the other RBI single.
Bruce Chen is looking like Randy Johnson so far. What adjustments do the Jays have to do against him?
Well, we've got to do a better job with 2 strikes. You know, he does have the ability to mix and match. We've got to stay patient. He's not going to, you know, dazzle us with power. But the fact he throws a cutter down and into right-handers and a very good changeup, we've got to stay back on some pitches and not just think we're going to get a fastball and fastball counts.
Thank you, John.
Okay, guys.
Pretty good breakdown of the situation, and you were right on the money, Pat, talking about Kansas City Royals out over the plate, and that's exactly what John Farrell had identified, and you can bet he identified it before the start of this game.
Yeah, you might start seeing some more pitches inside where the Royals don't extend through the ball. Start pitching inside just a little bit more and keeping the ball down. I think that's the whole key, when you can keep the ball in the lower part of the strike zone.
And a changeup, one of the few changeups we've seen, that missed down the stairs.
I like what he was saying about the 2-strike approach, and I talked to him before the game about Kansas City hitters, and he said they've got some good hitters over there. They have an idea at the plate.
There's a ball drilled to left field. Moustakas hits it off the top of the fence. Thames throw to second base is on line to tag. He is out. Eric Thames played it perfectly and made a strong throw. That's his first outfield assist from left field. He threw it right on the money to Mike McCoy.
And it had to be on the money because Moustakas was thinking extra bases. As soon as he hits it, drives the ball away again, and it's off the wall. But watch how Thames sets himself, catches it in one motion, throws a strike. Now all Mike McCoy has to do is catch and then throw the glove down in the dirt, and he's going to get the out. But the play was made by Thames by getting himself ready quickly and throwing it right on the bag.
Well, McCoy did a terrific job not reaching for the player, just going to the base, knowing where he had to slide into. But Thames made a terrific one-hop throw. That's got to make him feel good, as hard as he's worked in the outfield. Brett Laurie, tricky hop at third. Boy, too quick, huh?
You know what else? When you make plays like this in the outfield, it helps your pitcher. It helps him to gain some confidence as McCoy goes right down in the dirt and makes the tag for the first out. So Brandon Morrow comes right back, one pitch, one out. So now he's got 2 outs instead of a runner at third base and 1.
McCoy and Thames hooking up on a good defensive play. That could have been leadoff double. Then you don't know what happens. Now it's 2 outs. First pitch changeup. Alex Gordon Got a couple of strikeouts tonight. He's sitting on that bench going, what am I doing wrong and what are you guys seeing? Curveball missed. 1-1.
Yeah, Eric Hosmer hasn't had any problems with Brandon Morrow so far. He's got a couple of hits.
There's that good fastball. Located that inside. 1-2. Curveball, and Gordon has the hat trick. 3 strikeouts already. We're just in the 4th inning. But the defense turned things around for Brandon Morrow. Strong throw by Eric Thames. Someone will win a 40-inch Aquos Quattron TV and Blu-ray player. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp Aquos makes bigger, better. Right now, the Blue Jays are looking for a base runner. First Chen perfect through 3 innings, and he has 5 strikeouts.
Mixing and matching pretty well with his cutter, his slider, curveball, a little bit of everything. Now, each one of the hitters have had a chance to take a look at him. Let's see if they can make the adjustments now, second time through.
Yunel Escobar lays off that inside pitch. We heard from the manager, John Farrell, that he wants to see a better 2-strike approach. Bruce Chen is not going to blow you away with velocity, and you have to stay back and defend the strike zone with 2.
And lay off that pitch on the inner half like that. Pitchers like this, you have to figure out, okay, do I want the ball away and then try and stay with it, or do I want the ball in and then just wait for it?
There's the first hit. Up out over the plate. Yunel Escobar delivers. Nobody out, a man on. Check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. We saw Brandon Allen in that series out in Oakland, and he looks like he's going to be a pretty good hitter. This young man looks like he's going to be a pretty good hitter, too.
He's got to stay on the ball now. Don't try and pull Bruce Chen. He's going to try and get him to roll over on a pitch and stay away from him.
Yunel Escobar with that single, not only does he get the first hit of the ball game, but he snaps an 0 for 17. And he was looking forward to returning here to Rogers Center. He's hit over 300 in his career in this ballpark. Change up. Ball on a strike.
Chen has been around for a long time. You mentioned he got to the big leagues back in 1998. He has pitched as a reliever, as a starter, and has a long man out of the bullpen, so he doesn't panic in these situations.
Hot shot to short. Escobar to second. Giovatella's return throw in plenty of time. Double play, 2 outs. Alex Anthopoulos, the Senior Vice President of Baseball Operations and General Manager, will be joining us when we come back after this half inning. Obviously a lot to talk about with the Hill-McDonald trade. Can give us a preview of what to expect from Kelly Johnson, the second baseman. Also, Brian Girolamo has been called up from AAA Las Vegas. He's a left-handed hitting catcher. Bautista takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Do you know why he was showing the bunt? Have you ever seen a third baseman play short left field? We've seen the second baseman play. Look where Mike Moustakas, the third baseman, is playing.
Yeah, that might be overkill. 0-2. Bruce Chen with another strikeout. He has 6 strikeouts, has a very good 4th inning. We've played 4 complete. It's time to check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got a broadcast, he's got an update. Trade. They trade 2 popular Blue Jays, Aaron Hill and John McDonald, to the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for Kelly Johnson, the second baseman. And we are pleased to be joined by the Vice President and General Manager of the Blue Jays, Alex Anthopoulos. And Alex, sometimes you have to make tough decisions with very popular guys, and that's the case today, I'm sure, with Hill and McDonald.
No doubt about it. That was a unique press conference we had today where both players were sitting there, and it was one of those things that I think it's a benefit for the club, it's a benefit for them, the opportunity to go to a contending team, and we haven't ruled out that there's a scenario that both of them could be back with this club at some point.
Tell us how a trade like that comes about.
Sure, it's a lot more complicated because we're past the July 31st trade deadline and waivers need to take place. But it's one of those things that Arizona approached us. They had a needed shortstop with Stephen Drew being hurt and Willie Bloomquist getting the bulk of the at-bats, and he's more of a utility guy. So they asked about John McDonald, and from there it evolved to include Kelly Johnson and Aaron Hill. And really, John McDonald had 10 and 5 rights, which means 10 years of Major League service, 5 with the same team. That basically gives you a full no-trade clause. So I went and I spoke to him, and he had asked me a couple months before if there was a window where he can go to a contending team for 4 or 5 weeks just to experience that. He would love to do that, and if he was back with his club in 2012, it could only help him.
Well, that's a great opportunity. You come up with a rare situation where you can almost accommodate a player. When the general manager, Kevin Towers, gave you a call about McDonald.
No doubt. And actually, Johnny Mac came, I have a great relationship with a lot of our players. It's open lines of communication, and he came up to my office a month or 2 ago, and we talked about 2012, and I would just have that communication with him, and that's where he just said, look, I know what we're doing, I believe in what we're doing, I want to be here. At the same time, I'm close to 37. If something comes up, if someone asks about me late, do you mind being open, actually trying to give me a shot to experience it for 4 or 5 weeks. I'd love to experience that. I haven't experienced it since Cleveland. And he said he had similar conversations with J.P. Ricciardi in the past, and it hadn't come up. And as soon I told him, I said, John, I said, if anybody contacts me, I give you my word, I will let you know. And it all started by getting a text from Towers saying, would you talk about John McDonald? I wrote back, sure. And then I went to see Johnny Mack in the clubhouse. I showed him the text, and I said, look, I told you I wasn't going to lie. This is exactly what I've been asked. So what do you want me to tell him? And he said, well, can you talk about it and evolve from there?
So the players were agreed upon from the Blue Jays going to Arizona. How did Kelly Johnson's name come back this way?
Well, it started out as interest in John McDonald, and then the more we started to talk, and me and Kevin Towers had a few conversations back and forth. We had liked Kelly Johnson in the past. They had some interest in Aaron Hill. We really didn't know what we were going to do at second base next year. We were hopeful Aaron Hill was going to get hot and play well, but there was basically no guarantees that he was going to end up being here.
Billy Butler gives one a ride to left field. Thames gets there, but it's over the wall. Second home run of the night for Kansas City as Billy Butler goes deep. And tonight the Royals have figured out Brandon Morrow.
Yeah, home run number 16 from Butler. Yeah, John Farrell was just telling us last inning he's got to have better location with the fastball, and he's got to get it down. He just didn't get it in enough. Watch where this pitch ends up for Morrow. They wanted it in, and it catches too much of the plate and up. Butler just missed one his last time up, sent Colby Rasmus to center field to the wall. Didn't miss that one.
We're with Alex Anthopoulos, and Alex, I guess sitting and watching games like you do, you see Brandon Morrow against Seattle, and then you say, okay, well, he's going to do the same thing against Kansas City. I guess you have to really temper your enthusiasm over the course of the summer.
Sure, no, he was that game against Seattle. I got to watch it on TV, but wow, it gives you a glimpse of what he can be, and he's probably one of the most fun guys to watch pitch. It's a great delivery, it's electric stuff, and you know that he's capable of dominating any time out there. Again, if you miss spots or you leave the ball up, doesn't matter how good your stuff is, you are going to get hit. But Brandon's showed us at times how good he can be, and it's certainly there.
Eric Hosmer is having some night. The long and short of it, he's 3 for 3 now. A little swinging bunt that Molina couldn't make a play on. Alex, we're getting close to the end of the month, and that's when rosters have to be set for the postseason. That's why all these trades are taking place now. Do you foresee anything else happening? Or I guess just like the Towers thing, you never know when somebody will call.
Sure, no, and that's, again, we have no plans to make trades in the month of August. We haven't claimed anybody on trade waivers at all. It was one of those things we were just going to sit back and continue to evaluate the players and follow the prospects, and I got a phone call. So there's still a week left. We may get a phone call again. Both Aaron Hill and John McDonald had cleared trade waivers, so only so many players have cleared and only so many technically could be asked about. So at this point, with a week left, I figure we would have been asked about players unless in the next week someone gets hurt and we have a fit.
Brian Girolamo will join the team tomorrow. Tell us about his role and what you might expect to see out of Girolamo.
No, right now we didn't really have a clean fit for somebody to come up. He'd be the 25th guy. You'd normally look for a middle infielder, considering we were going to give up 2 and we're only getting 1 back. Girolamo was going to be up here in September one way or the other. It's just someone to get the experience. He's on the 40-man roster. Defensively, he's very good. He hasn't swung the bat very well in Las Vegas, but again, we think he's someone that could evolve to be a backup and do a pretty good job at that. So right now, it just made a whole lot of sense to get him up here a week before. Some of the other candidates we felt needed to continue to get at bats. They have a chance to be everyday players, whereas Brian we see as more of a backup, and he can learn a lot just being up here, observing, seeing how guys get ready for games, get to know the relievers, catch pens, things like that.
And you've had some of the minor leaguers come up from AA, and I was reading the other day that it's very important for them to experience the playoffs, so you don't want to pull any more kids off that AA team up here.
Correct, and that was the biggest thing. And we debated that a little bit with Joel Carreño, but we think Joel has a chance to maybe impact this club in the bullpen next year. So to give him a taste and to really get a look at him, it'll only make us that much better. And he was already on the 40-man roster, and that factors into it as well. But if we can, we want to try to give as many of our kids playoff experiences. The ability to win as a group and to go through that is great for their development.
Give us your impressions of Henderson Alvarez and Luis Perez over the weekend. They were pretty good out there in Oakland.
No question. Alvarez, I think, has done a very good job. He's making some tweaks to his delivery, getting a little more smooth. As you guys have seen, he's got great life on the fastball. He's thrown some very good changeups. He's going to throw strikes. He needs to continue to learn and work and tighten up that slider. But I think in time it'll continue to improve. It already has in the last 2 or 3 years. Louis was outstanding. That sinker, the velocity, he's so poised, he's so calm. The biggest issue with him is the ability to throw strikes. His delivery, I've always compared it to a little bit Carmona with the Indians from the left side. He lands open, strides open, and he's got so much life on that ball. And he's a great kid, great teammate. So we may have found something there. He's never had a ton of success as a starter, but he's always had great stuff. Maybe it's starting to come around for him.
Do you see them both as starters, or maybe end up in the bullpen later in their career?
I think we're going to exhaust, for all starters, you always exhaust every opportunity to start. What happens is ultimately the more you see them, if you're starting debating, well, they're going to be back-end starters, fourth or fifth starters, then you start saying, well, can they be impact relievers? Because it's a lot easier to find a fourth or fifth starter than it is to find a late-inning reliever. So they'll tell us they have the ability to be very good starters because they have great stuff. That being said, you guys know there's a lot more that goes into that, strikes, the ability to miss bats, get ground balls, things like that. So hopefully they both can have long careers as starters. If not, they'd be great candidates to pitch out of the pen.
The Vancouver relationship in your first year back in Vancouver has been very good, and obviously you've had a lot of success. It's been successful at the gate. But now you have two of their young stars. You've moved them up to Lansing, Nicolino and Syndergaard, two young pitchers. Tell us about them and why you moved them at this point in the season.
Yeah, they've had tremendous success, and our scouting director, Andrew Tinish, and his staff did a great job. Nicolino is a guy that Andrew and our special assistant Dana Brown pounded the table for in the draft when they wanted him. Syndergaard is a guy that was a late bloomer. Came on late in the draft, was not a name. Andrew, Dana, and our pro scouting director, Perry Manassian, saw him, and his velocity continued to climb, and he was young. He only turned 18, I think, a few days ago. So, I'm sorry, 19, but out of the draft, he was very young. So, they both throw strikes. They're both highly competitive guys. They're going to start in Lansing next year, one way or the other. So, it's not the worst thing in the world for them to just go experience it for a week or two and experience the playoffs because they're going to be there the entire year.
Good young arms, and that's kind of been your theme the last couple of years in the draft, hasn't it?
No, it really is, and it's just one of those. Some people have theories of draft the arms, trade for the bats. I think we've done that a lot. You can never have enough arms. The one thing I found, I get on the phone with a GM. There is no motivation at all to trade a starter or a reliever. You always have room for them. You have guys in the bullpen, guys that are starters, guys get hurt. From a position player standpoint, somebody always ends up becoming available.
There's another shot, and this is going to go all the way to the wall. Hosmer comes in to score, and Giovatello will stop at second. His second hit of the night. Give us a scouting report on Casey Lawrence. We know, we follow him, but a lot of our fans don't know about Casey Lawrence, and he's off to an impressive start in his career.
He's done very well. He was a later round pick, and he's pitched very well, throws strikes, continues to perform very, very well, and he's someone that, again, didn't have a lot of expectations when he came in, but he's every step of the way he's performed extremely well for us. So he's had a great year. Another kid, Molina, who's in New Hampshire, having another great start tonight, was a converted player. I believe he's an outfielder, and he was converted in the Dominican Summer League, and he's been outstanding, and he's got a sub-1 ERA in New Hampshire right now. So we've had some guys that have really come on that we didn't necessarily expect a lot from coming into the year, and it's been a credit to player development.
Has there been a few players that have just surprised you, that you didn't think that they would do what they're doing right now?
I think the biggest surprise has been Molina. He's been outstanding, and we had some clubs ask about him at the trade deadline, and we sent a lot of our scouts in. Specifically, Dana Brown saw him middle of July, and he said, you cannot trade this guy. And he had good numbers in the Florida State League, and he wasn't a name. He wasn't a top prospect. And he said, I'm telling you, this guy is lights out. He's very good. I'd be very, very afraid to trade him. And, and our reports on him were okay, but he kept getting better. And we were asked about him, and we refused to part with him, and so far he's done outstanding.
There's been some pitchers who have made 3 jumps this year. They would start at rookie ball, and now they're in Double-A. Drew Hutchinson, one of them. What's your theory on that?
We try to have a game plan going into the year from an objective standpoint, and as they continue to perform and continue to do well, if they need to be challenged, we're willing to adjust. We're not going to be set in stone with the moves that we're going to make. And especially at the end of the season, we've had a lot of late moves. If guys are going to start at a certain level or team next year, it's not the worst thing in the world to get them to experience that and at least be around it for a few weeks or months.
Salvador Perez hits one past the diving Colby Rasmus. This one goes all the way to the wall. Giovatello comes in to score. And Perez is on his way to third with a triple. Kansas City. Double-digit hits off Brandon Morrow, which is really a surprise given what he did last time out, and that's going to be it. John Farrell has made the call to the bullpen. We have been following Dustin McGowan, and last time out, compared to what he had done, he got hit around a little bit. But what's the next step for Dustin McGowan?
His next outing, he's eligible really to go up to 5 innings for us. Again, he's thrown very well. The last time out did not throw as well. But we continue to build up his arm strength, see how he bounces back, make sure there's no complications or setbacks. And we expect him to be here in September. We don't know what the role is going to be. We talked about it a little bit today. Would we have him come up here and start? Would we have him relieve? Those are things we'll continue to evaluate as he continues to be stretched out and add the innings and really add the workload. So he'll be up here in September one way or the other. We just don't know the role yet. But the great thing is that he's continuing to make starts.
No setbacks or anything like that, because it's been so long since he's been here.
Absolutely, and we've been more cautious than anything else. You know, he's had some forearm soreness and things like that, but not anything really prevented him from doing anything. So it's his first full year back that he's pitched. He hasn't gone this long in a long time. So far, everything's gone very, very well, and hopefully he can keep it going.
What a bonus that would be if he could make it all the way back. A couple of guys I want to talk to you about. Adeiny Hechavarria. It seems like he only gets better each time you challenge him. What's he going to do when he gets to the big leagues?
It's unbelievable. You know what? We joked about it. If you don't perform, you get moved up. And it's you know, Tony LaCava and I talked about this at length when we were debating sending him up to Vegas, and we had talked about it. And you know, like anything, his concern was you're taking a kid that doesn't know how to read and you're going to advance him a grade. And because the numbers in New Hampshire weren't all that good. However, the year prior to that, he had performed well there, and we had made the decision that, you know what, he may have needed a fresh start. Got into a bit of a funk early. He had gotten hot the last 10 games or so there, started swinging the bat well. He was going to end up in Las Vegas next season. So, again, it's the same concept. But why not get him at the level he's going to start at the following year? See how he does. Get close, give him some incentive, get him the chance to work with Chad Mottola. And so far, it's been a great start for him.
A lot of young players that you have in the farm system that are having great years. Do you foresee some of them playing winter ball this year to maybe polish off their production?
We've talked about it. I mean, it's up to the player to end up doing that. We certainly strongly encourage a lot of them. Some of them will go to the Arizona Fall League, but there's definitely a lot of things that they all can work on, and I'm a big believer in the more they play, the more they're going to improve, especially if they want to come and compete for a spot on this club.
Your Double-A catcher, Travis d'Ormeaux, is going to play with Team USA in the offseason. That's got to be an advantage for him to catch talented prospects from other organizations only to advance his catching skills.
Absolutely. Just the exposure and the experience of being in that type of tournament. And like you said, to catch some of those great arms. He's had great arms to catch in New Hampshire, but again, the more he plays, he missed a lot of development time last year in the Florida State League. He was out with a back. He didn't have a lot of at-bats, so he's a little bit behind, but he's had a wonderful year, and he's really come on, and that's going to be a great problem for us to have in a few years with him and JP.
And they're going to be in the playoffs also, it looks like, New Hampshire.
Yes.
The Double-A team.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be in New Hampshire. Bluefield just clinched. Dunedin's got a chance to be in the playoffs, a very good chance. Lansing looks like they're going to be in the playoffs. So we could have quite a few clubs in the playoffs.
Now you have about a week after the draft. Give us your overall assessment as you had a chance to step back and take a look at the signings that you were able to accomplish.
No, we're very pleased. I think Andrew Tinish and his staff did a great job. We changed our philosophy a little bit this year, not in terms of talent, but we took a little more risk. We went after some tough signs. You know, we didn't want to pass on some of the talent and let them get to some of the other teams. So it's one of those things that we were able to sign a lot of our draft picks, and obviously we didn't get to sign Tyler Beatty, but we'll get the pick back the following year, and hopefully we get a great player.
Alex Anthopoulos, everything is going great in the minor leagues. Thanks so much for your time.
All right, guys, enjoyed it.
Thanks, Alex.
TV Comfort Zone. Our guest of the Blue Jays, their Twitter followers here tonight. First game of this 3-game series against Kansas City. It's a 7-game homestand. The Royals in for 3. Then Tampa Bay will be in for a weekend wraparound series that'll end up on Monday. Tough night for Brandon Morrow. He goes 4 2/3, and he has touched up for 6 runs on 11 hits, including a couple of home runs.
Yeah, that last inning, the Royals were able to hit for the cycle. A single, double, triple, and a home run to knock out Brandon Morrow in this game. 103 pitches.
Adam Lynn goes after the first pitch and lines it deep to second base. Lynn hustling all the way. Give him credit. Giovatello was in shallow right field, and Lynn almost beat it out.
I don't think I've ever seen an infield play as deep as the Royals infield here tonight. Giovanella playing a short right field. You can see him at the top of your screen there. And the ball on the ground to him. He's got plenty of time, and he almost throws it over Hosmer's head. And that's one of the things that the Royals have improved on this year because of Eric Hosmer at first base. He has saved the infielders a lot of errors by digging the ball out of the dirt. And he's about 6'4", so he can save a lot of high throws too.
Yeah, he's a big target over there at first base. He goes up, stretches, and then comes down just before Lynn crosses the bag. Good call by Laz Diaz down at first, but give Adam Lynn a lot of credit. I mean, that's easy just to concede. You ground it out to second base and jog up the line. He didn't do that.
It's August. It's 6-0. You just, okay, I've hit the ball not very hard, but he made it close.
Another strikeout for Bruce Chen, number 7 on the night. 2 outs here in the 5th.
Second time that he has gotten Edwin Encarnacion. He goes soft early in the count and then reaches back for something a little bit harder, and he puts it on the outside part of the plate and gets Encarnacion for the second time.
7 strikeouts ties Chen's high for the season. That came in his second start of the season at Detroit against the Tigers. Well, I tell you what, I haven't seen him but for 4 2/3 innings. I love Salvador Perez.
Yes.
Look at the target he presents. It looks like a bullseye in a big target.
Watching him behind the plate and at bat and then running the bases. He had that triple on the top of the inning. Reminds me a lot of a young Sandy Alomar Jr. when he was with the Indians.
Ground ball to first. Hosmer, he'll go to the bag and beat Rasmus. Bang bang at first, but he gets there. 3 up, 3 down, 5th inning for Bruce Chen. He's allowed just 1 hit. Of Benjamin Deutsch, who answered Henderson Alvarez. And Brett Bory tonight's Tweeting Tuesday trivia question. 2 players that were born in the 90s. And Benjamin, you're going to be receiving an autographed baseball from the Blue Jays. Congratulations. Benjamins from Port Hope, Ontario. Brett Laurie and Henderson Alvarez, both born in the 90s. Blue Jays trail 6-0. Will Ledesma came on to get the final out of the 5th inning. First pitch strike to Alcides Escobar. There's a good fastball. Escobar is late. Escobar was a key part of the trade with the Milwaukee Brewers that sent Zach Greinke to Milwaukee. And you see Joel Carreño loosening up. Carreño has yet to pitch in the big leagues. Heard Alex Anthopoulos talking about Carreño and his work as a starter in Double-A. Escobar late.
Nice play by the fans down there in the green seats.
Down in the comfort zone. We've been down there, and that's not an easy play.
No, it isn't. You're right on top of the field, and he made that look easy. He's got his glove.
Ice cream cone and a glove, and he still made the catch. Hey, he's got the nice ice cream cone working. He gets the foul ball. Never misses a beat.
Yeah, now that takes talent.
Yeah, look at that. Holding his ice cream up. Should have had it all the way.
Player.
All right. We sat down there last year broadcasting a game, and I was ducking and dodging on everything. And I didn't have an ice cream cone.
If we need a net, that's what we need if we ever go down there again. Or maybe we'll just hire him to protect
our bodyguard.
Yeah.
Look at that. Got a big league baseball. Front row seat.
And he now on TV.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's got the VCR set.
And Mom just said, you know what? They just saw you on TV. There's a pop-up down the right side, and that'll drift into the seats. Kansas City out to a 6-0 lead here. They scored 6 runs on 11 hits. And it hasn't diminished his enthusiasm one bit. He got a foul ball.
Kansas City Royals have some exciting young players. They can hit. They've got some power. They have good approaches at the plate. This is my first shot at watching them this year.
It's a ground ball. McCoy. That's a nice play. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Adrian Gonzalez has not had a great second half to his season. He's really cooled off dramatically, but maybe that home run will get him going. Jacoby Ellsbury's been out the last couple of games with a contusion. He was so hot, somebody hit him in the back.
Yeah. They said if it was the playoffs, he would have been able to play the other day, and he'd probably be back in there.
Alex Gordon, little looper in the left field. That'd get down for a base hit. Gordon had 3 strikeouts against Brandon Morrow. He was happy to see him leave. It doesn't matter if Ledesma's left-handed.
Yeah, get him out of there and get the lefty in there. He has a chance. Had no chance against Brandon Morrow. That time just floats one in the left field.
Melky Cabrera, he's gone 0 for 3 so far. He's about right-handed against Will Ledesma. First pitch changeup. Came back and missed outside with the same pitch. Blue Jays home for the first time in 7 games. They had that 7-game West Coast swing through Seattle and Oakland. Off day yesterday, and they've picked up things against Kansas City. Down and in. Blue Jays have been tethered to 500. Get a few games over, a few games under. They haven't been able to get many games over. They are 3 games over currently. And John Farrell would like to see his team stretch it out. Highest they've been over 500 was 4 games this season.
And that just happened the other day. At times they would play sensational baseball to get back into it. And just when you think they're going to go off the cliff and fall 10 games under 500, they get hot again and get right. They've been around that 500 mark, it seems like, all season long.
Their West Coast trip, Seattle and Oakland having down season, an opportunity to really have a good road trip. And we mentioned they had a lead in game 1 out in Seattle and then gave up back-to-back home runs in the 8th inning to lose the opener. They lost that one 6-5. And then that changes dramatically. You go to a 5-2 road trip.
Yeah.
Instead of a 4-3 road trip.
It looks so much better, and it's so hard to travel all the way across 3 time zones and play on the West Coast. And you're facing some of the better pitching teams in the American League in Seattle and Oakland.
But at the same time, in Safeco Field, it was like a Blue Jays home game. So many Blue Jay fans down there to watch Brett Lawrie and the Blue Jays. Certainly they've recreated an awful lot of interest on the West Coast, and the atmosphere was truly a Blue Jays favorable atmosphere.
How about that when he hit that home run?
Pretty awesome. 2-2, 1 out. Gordon at first. Upstairs, full count. You'd certainly hope that the Blue Jays don't take these teams lightly. When you look at Seattle and Oakland on your schedule, say, well, they're not the Red Sox or the Yankees, and we'll be okay out there. But you're always going to have well-pitched games in that trip. There's a changeup, and Cabrera strikes out.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, Fredo Ledesma strikes out Melky Cabrera, and he's going to leave. Joel Carreño will make his major league debut. When we come back, he'll face Billy Butler. Hit a home run with Shark Facebook page. Lots of great prizes available. You can test your baseball knowledge and win some of those beautiful prizes. Joel Carreño making his major league debut here tonight in relief of Will Ledesma. Carreño started at AA New Hampshire, and he pitched very well.
Yeah, he certainly did. Just recalled on the 18th of this month, he made 23 starts with the New Hampshire team. Went 7-9. His ERA was very good at 3.41. Check out those strikeouts, 152 and 134 innings for Carreño. Over his minor league career, he was known as a strikeout, over 600 strikeouts in the minor league. This is a pitcher who was in the Florida State League just a year ago. And now here he finds himself in the big leagues facing the Kansas City Royals.
Billy Butler homered in his last at-bat. Carreño got a very good slider. And as Pat mentioned, he's got outstanding control. He was with the Blue Jays in spring training, although he didn't get a chance to pitch much. First pitch is upstairs. Billy Butler hit his 16th home run of the season with one out in the 5th inning.
Carreño is just 24 years old. He has been a starter his whole career in the minor leagues. He's got a good arm, basically a fastball slider type of pitcher. Really hasn't refined that many other pitchers in his arsenal.
Butler goes after that inside pitch and hits it into foul territory. Long run over there, now drifts back over to fair territory, and Eric Thames stays with it. So Carreño hits his first big league appearance and retires the first batter he faces. Looking for our nation's most talented performers. Auditions are being held in Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax. Canada's Got Talent.com has all the date and location information. We're looking for acts of all ages. Sign up, show up for Canada's Got Talent. Tabby, I saw that the Toronto portion of the auditions are happening the end of September, so I'll make sure you get the time and date, location.
Yes.
So we'll have you there.
Are we in town?
We will be. We'll make sure that you're in town.
Change the schedule so we're in town. So maybe you and I can go down there and do a little something.
Now, I will introduce you. That's what I'll do.
Come on, you got some talent, don't you?
Oh, zero. Bruce Chen's got some talent tonight. He's shutting out the Blue Jays on one hit. Brett Lorry goes after a pitch, golfs it into right field. Vancouver with a nice running catch. One out.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Jeff Brancourt, a terrific outfielder. He has more assists than anybody in baseball since 2005. One out. Jose Molina goes after the first pitch. And you talk about the kitchen sink. Bruce Chen is throwing the kitchen sink tonight.
He's throwing the cutter, the slider, the changeup, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He's also dropping down at times to give the Blue Jay hitters a little something else to think about. They just have not been able to figure him out so far. They have one hit, but that was wiped out very quickly by a double play.
Breaking ball beyond the dime of Escobar into left. Second hit of the night. Molina waits back on the curveball and rips it into left.
He's done a good job this year, basically catching Brandon Morrow when he gets in there. You see him wait back, hit from an open stance so he can really load up on that back leg and close that front side. Stays back on that breaking ball and rips it into left field.
One out, Mike McCoy. McCoy started at second base tonight. Aaron Hill was traded this afternoon along with John McDonald to the Arizona Diamondbacks for Kelly Johnson. 29-year-old Kelly Johnson should be here tomorrow. Still some question as to whether he'll be in time for the game or not. Quickly 0-2. Aaron Hill, very popular player. He played here for 7 seasons. He had an all-star season a couple of years ago. Was the Silver Slugger his second?
He was also the comeback player of the year in the American League.
Big bouncing ball to third. Moustakas gloves it, bobbles it, and not in time. Laz Diaz and Hosmer came off the bat. A little bit of a bobble allowed Mike McCoy to beat it out at first.
Oh, he runs so well down that first base line, and you're going to get the effort from Mike McCoy every single time. I think Eric Hosmer was trying to cheat here. He has been so good at balls in the dirt, and he was trying to cheat to bring that foot off just a little bit before the ball goes into his glove, and Mike McCoy will beat it out. Taps the ball right off the plate, and he's running hard, thinking about that base hit. And Laz Diaz stayed right with it.
Moustakas had a little bobble. Hosmer trying to help him out. Got caught cheating off the back. First and second, one out. Back to the top of the order. Escobar has a hit and 2 trips. One thing to remember, Bruce Chen gives up the home runs. He's allowed 14 so far this season. Blue Jays have been a good home run club all year long.
And it's not just this year for Bruce Chen. He has been known in his career. He's given up 197 of them.
Long drive left field, and this ball is gone. Yunel Escobar happy to be back in the friendly confines of Rogers Center. Goes deep. His second hit of the night, a 3-run shot.
First, the real short one. That was the infield single by McCoy, setting the stage for this. Escobar pulls this one to left center field. Home run number 11 for Escobar. Really no doubt about it. Shows you how much pop he's got in that bat as he takes that ball way out of here to left center field. In the Blue Jays, the momentum, you can feel it over in that third base dugout. It's starting to move over there, right back into it.
One out. Eric Thames with a home run cut. Well, that's one thing the Blue Jays have, is the power of the home run. That can get you back in the ball game very quickly. This is popped back out of play. A lot of power in this lineup, and up and down the order, and there's the man that leads the majors standing on deck. Eric Thames 0 for 2. Blue Jays 3 runs on 4 hits off Bruce Chen. Big sweeping breaking ball. Thames did a good job of laying off that pitch. That's the one that he has chased an awful lot. That letter high pitch.
He didn't give ground either. You saw he just stayed back on his back leg and really tracked it.
Drive to left field, but Gordon gets a good break on it and hauls it in. Blue Jays getting a better look at Bruce Chen, and you can see his troubles have happened the second and third time through the order.
The starter has to go through the lineup 3 times. You make the adjustments. Again, he doesn't blow the ball by you, so you have to make the adjustments, and he has to do the same thing to you as a hitter.
Lots of targets all over the outfield for Jose Bautista. He nearly hit one in Oakland on Sunday. The only run of the ball, his 36th home run of the season. There was a Bautista fan about 2 seats away from where that ball landed. Went too far. Home plate umpire John Hirschbeck called him for the swing.
That's been a very good pitch for Bruce Chen so far tonight. That little cutter slider to the right-handers. He's been getting it right underneath their bats all night long.
That's the pitch John Farrell talked about, laying off that cut fastball. Bautista did a good job of that.
Force him to get the ball out over the plate. You can look for the ball out over the plate then.
Off the end of the bat. Boy, he was out in front of that changeup.
That's one thing that Chen hasn't done tonight. He hasn't fallen into a pattern.
Yunel Escobar, his 10th home run here at Rogers Center. He has a .313 career average in this ballpark. Big, slow curveball. Bruce Chen drops that hook on Bautista, his 8th strikeout of the night. That's a new season high, but Escobar has cut the lead in half. His 3-run home run to center field, his 11th of the season. Blue Jays are back in it. Report down in Double-A. Nestor Molina, whom Alex Anthopoulos talked about, a converted outfielder. His last 3 starts in Double-A. Look at the numbers, Pat. And this young man has dominated Double-A hitting.
He certainly has. He's another one of those players. He keeps going up the ladder. He keeps getting better and better. 24-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, an ERA of 0.56. Just 8 hits in the 16 innings. Pitched again tonight. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 7 more strikeouts. And I like the story that Alex Anthopoulos was talking about, that there was some interest in this young arm at the trade deadline, and the Blue Jays said, we're not going to give him up.
Well, Nestor Molina is from the same hometown as Henderson Alvarez. Molina is just 22 years old, just a few months older than Henderson Alvarez. Joel Carreño, first pitch ground ball. 1 down. Finally retires Eric Hosmer. Hosmer was 3 for 3 before that ground out to second. The young talent has been impressive. We'd heard from Alex Anthopoulos that Joel Carreño is a candidate to pitch in the bullpen next year. He's been a starter. 21-year-old Brett Lawrie playing in his 17th game.
You know, the one thing that we have noticed with all the young pitchers, for the most part, when they have come up here this year, they haven't been intimidated. They have come up, they have thrown strikes. They look like they belong.
Breaking ball past Brett Lawrie at third. Francoeur is headed for second as Thames has to dig it out. It got stuck under that padding, and Francoeur has his second double of the night. He just smoked that ball right past the third baseman.
Inner half, they wanted to go away. It's a breaking ball, and it really speeds the bat up of good hitters. And this ball is sent like a missile down to third base. It looked like it might have hit a seam and came up on Lawrie, who had no chance of catching that one. Gets stuck in the wall, and Francoeur will have another extra base hit.
39th double of the season, Johnny Giovitella. He's had a couple of hits and driven in too. Tell you what, he's not timid either. We mentioned Giovitella led the major leagues in hits, 153 hits while he was in, I said majors, of course, the minor leagues in hits at Omaha. But he is some good hitting prospect.
One thing that John Farrell was telling me before the ball game, he was talking about the Kansas City Royals and all the young players that we have seen. He said they are aggressive. They go up there swinging the bat, but they become under control when they get to 2 strikes, and they have an idea.
It sounds like you're describing their hitting coach, Kevin Seitzer.
Yes, that's exactly how Kevin Seitzer was. He hit through the whole field. He was early in the count very aggressive, but then he would have a good 2-strike approach. Works very hard at what he does. Has a batting cage in Kansas City, and a lot of the players will go there in the offseason and work with him.
Breaking ball caught the outside corner. One and two, 1 out. It's a 6-3 ball game. Yonan Escobar's 3-run home run in the bottom of the 6th. Another breaking ball stayed on the inside part of the plate. Rasmus over in the alley makes the catch. Tagging at second is Francoeur. He'll move over to third. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. A perfect night for baseball in Toronto. First of 3 against the Royals. Salvador Perez, 21-year-old catcher. Tell you what, watching him stand into plate, he looks like Eduardo Perez hitting. Son of Tony Perez, but he's quickly establishing a name for himself.
Long arms, can reach that outside part of the plate. You see he stands way off the plate.
Another breaking ball, this time to Lawrie at third. Perez is retired, and Carreño strands a base runner. Impressive start to his career. with 98 in the American League. But Prince Fielder is having a terrific season for the Brewers, who are having a great season in that National League Central Division.
How about the Brewers just running away with it now? They were up by a game, maybe down by a half a game, and they've gone on this hot streak. And now they're just running away with it. Up by 9 games now on the St. Louis Cardinals.
Now, St. Louis and Cincinnati faded dramatically. Now it's time for the Twitter question of the game. At @RSmaltz12 asked, what was it that allowed Luis Perez to pitch with such success in his first major league start on Sunday?
Well, if you watch the game, you could see that Perez had great action in the strike zone on his pitches. Meaning his fastball was coming in the strike zone, and then it was diving down and away from the right-handers, or he would throw his slider. He had action late. And a lot of the pitches, as you see some of the highlights, watch how much the movement is inside the strike zone, which was the key. And that's why you got a lot of the swing and misses from the Oakland A's.
Now, Perez kept it simple. He said all he was trying to do was throw strikes, and he threw strikes to all the hitters. Connor Jackson felt that pitch was inside, but when you really look at it, the way that he was able to start, and he pitched a perfect game for 5 innings, took 61 pitches through 5 innings.
That was the key right there. I mean, it only took him that few pitches to get deep into the ball game. But he's done that since he's come up, since the first time we saw him in Fenway Park when he came up, and he just throws strikes.
Well, John Farrell left him in the game in the 6th inning. He had 2 on, and he had a tough situation. He got the ground ball, got the double play, but John Farrell felt at that point of the ball game, Luis Perez deserved to determine his own fate. Left him in a game, in a scoreless game. He got the double play off the bat of Coco Crisp, and then Jose Bautista led off the 7th with a solo home run.
He was on a pitch count too, right around 75 pitches, something like that.
Yep, he was around 75 pitches, and John Farrell said, you know what, he's pitched so well, I'm going to let him finish this game, and he did, and he picked up his win as a starter. Stay tuned after this game. So next on Sportsnet, Connected will be on Sportsnet East, on Sportsnet Ontario, also Connected. Sportsnet West, more Major League Baseball. The White Sox will be at the Angels. The Angels announcing they have extended their fine young pitcher, Jared Weaver, with a multi-year contract. And Sportsnet Pacific, how about a National League rivalry? The San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants will hook up. So a lot more baseball to come right here on Sportsnet after this ball game.
That'll be a good pitching matchup in San Diego, in San Francisco. Matt Latos and Matt Cain.
Adam Lynn starting things off here in the 7th. Cuts on the pitch. You might have noticed we did have a bit of a delay. There were a couple of people that had decided they wanted to be on the field and get their moment in the spotlight, and they were promptly removed, but we didn't want to give them any more notoriety than they had already got. Another strikeout. Boy, that big sweeping breaking ball has been terrific for Bruce Chen. That's 9 strikeouts now for Chen.
In and out, up and down, hard, soft, take a little off, put a little on, and this time he really has Adam Lynn fishing for that breaking ball after he put fastball in his mind with strike number 2. It's the best I've ever seen Bruce Chen throw.
Just tied his career high in strikeouts. It's the 3rd time he's registered 9 strikeouts in a game. First time he's had 9 strikeouts since 2001. June 13, 2001, against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at that time. There's a shot, but well fouled. Chen was pitching for Philadelphia at that point. That was an interleague game, and he had 9 strikeouts, so he has tied his career high with 9 strikeouts tonight. This is popped up down the left field line. Alex Gordon in fair territory. 2 down.
Very, very efficient also, as he pitches with 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Just 76 pitches for Bruce Chen, and that's remarkable because of all the strikeouts also.
Yeah, he's got 9 strikeouts. And John Farrell, the manager, when he joined us in the 4th inning, suggested that the Blue Jays needed to have a better 2-strike approach, but Chin hasn't allowed him to do that.
He has thrown, out of his 77 pitches, just 18 pitches outside the strike zone. 18 balls so far now in the 7th inning.
Boy, he has located that crossfire fastball to lefties. It's 0-2 to Colby Rasmus. Rasmus 0 for 2 tonight. Blue Jays with just 3 runs on 4 hits. Here's Chin. Was born in Panama City, Panama. His grandparents moved there from China. His parents were raised there. He was born there, and he grew up in Georgia. Went to Georgia Tech. He's an engineer. He and his whole family all studied engineering, and they have several engineers in the family, including his father. But he has loved pitching, and he has pitched. Now this is his 8th season. He missed the entire 2008 season with Tommy John surgery. But he's pitched with Atlanta, Philadelphia, the Mets, Montreal, Cincinnati, Houston, Boston, Baltimore, and now Kansas City. This is popped up into right. Francoeur jogs in. Another easy inning for Bruce Chin. 7 complete here at Rogers Center. Kansas City has a 3-run lead. From anywhere, online or on the go at RogersOnDemand.com.
Jays are down 6-0 until Escobar steps to the plate his last time up and uncorks his 11th home run of the season. A 3-run shot to left field, cutting the lead in half and giving the Jays a chance. They've got some work to do now. A couple more innings, but Escobar's blast has given them a chance.
Jarrell Carreño has come on to make his major league debut. He got the final out of the 6th inning, gave up a double in the 7th, but stranded Jeff Francoeur at 3rd. Here he is set to work the 8th. Mike Moustakas walked and singled. He singled in the 4th inning, but was thrown out on a terrific defensive play by Eric Thames from left field. Moustakas hit one off the top of the wall in left, but Thames threw him out. Moving fastball caught the outside corner. Jarrell Carreño making his major league debut out of San Cristobal, Dominican Republic. We saw him in spring training, and he showed then that he had a good breaking ball. Now he's had the experience of a full summer pitching in Double-A.
Again, just last year he was in Dunedin in the Florida State League, which is A-ball. And he was able to make the jumps this year. Blue Jays got him from the AA team this year just 10 days ago.
There's a base hit to left field. Moustakas has his second hit of the night.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful night to ride the elevator on the CN Tower. A lot of things going on around this area. Get a good look at it. A lot of the Kansas City Royals coming in for the first time. They were enthralled when the roof opened and they could see the CN Tower high above the stadium. Alcides Escobar, he's been held hitless over 3 tonight. Moustakas doesn't have a steal or a steal attempt this season. Very quick throw. Quick feet from the pitcher.
Yeah, Mike Moustakas might have to take a step back towards first base. That's very close.
Six-3 ball game, top of the 8th. Shorten up his lead. Breaking ball missed. Much better breaking ball there as that one stayed down and away, but it was low. Fly ball to left field. Thames has it measured in front of the warning track. Escobar's retired. That's the first out of the 8th. Carreño, just like Henderson Alvarez, looks very confident and poised on the mound.
You can throw in Luis Perez in that lineup also. Young pitchers that have come up here this year and they haven't been intimidated. Very calm. They don't get ahead of themselves. And it's all about slowing the game down. Not getting too quick out there.
Alex Gordon, the leadoff batter, goes after the first pitch and misses. Gordon struck out 3 times before he singled in the 6th. Bruce Chen with a 3-run lead. He's held the Blue Jays to 3 runs on 4 hits. The only damage was the 3-run home run by Yunel Escobar, who came in the 6th. Good fastball. Carreño showing a pretty good assortment of velocities. Sinking fastball, a little bit more velocity, straightens it out with a 4-seamer, and then a couple of different breaking balls.
Low 90s fastball. A nice little slider. 173 strikeouts last year in A-ball in 137 innings. So he certainly has the arm.
One thing you don't really worry about with Carreño at this point is pitch count. He started at AA, so he's got a lot left in his tank. He's just getting loose now.
Yeah. He'll be the long man out of the bullpen in pitching games like this where they need multiple innings. If the starter has to leave early in the game, he'll come in and give you 3-4 innings if you need it. It's also a nice little open tryout, if you will, for next year.
Oh, I think that's important. And it's important that you've seen Henderson Alvarez in August. You see Luis Perez in August, and then you see Carreño in August before the September call-ups. Teams are different in September, although the Blue Jays are going to face Tampa Bay, Boston, New York.
Yeah.
The teams that are fighting for those postseason berths.
Yeah, you can get fooled by people in September when they're facing teams that are out of the pennant race, or they're filled up with minor leaguers getting that call up.
Baltimore just reshuffled roster, and the Blue Jays will play them at the end of August, first day of September in a 3-game series in Baltimore. I mean, they just overhauled everything. They sent guys to the minors. They called Brian Mattis back up from the minors. They got a second baseman up now to give him an audition in case Brian Roberts can't play. Jake Fox is back in the big leagues. They made all kinds of roster moves. So you're going to see a lot of new faces there. 1-2, 1 out. Strike 3 call. Alex Gordon might have had a beef on that pitch. Breaking ball looked like it might have been outside.
Goes to the back door, and you're right. He might have had a beef on that one. This will really show you where the ball is. Right in the other batter's box, but Carreño will pick up the strikeout, his first big league strikeout.
He can put Alex Gordon in the book as the first big league strikeout. 2 down, man at first base, Melky Cabrera. He's gone 0 for 4 tonight.
You know, one thing about September, when you play in the American League East, you're going to face New York and you're going to face Boston, and chances are they're not going to be out of the pennant race, that you'll get their best shot. So if you have these young pitchers like we've been talking about, they're going to get the Red Sox and the Yankees best.
There's a breaking ball that evens the count. Yeah, you're right. The Red Sox are fighting, keep pace with the Yankees. They both want to get to the postseason, and their success or failure is all related to the postseason and nothing more. You get to the postseason, or else it's been a bad year.
You're not going to be facing a guy from Double-A,
no,
from the Yankees or the Red Sox in September, because every game means something to them.
Two and one. Melky Cabrera in his first season with Kansas City. He spent last year in Atlanta with the Braves. Started his big league career with the Yankees. Ground ball knocked down by McCoy, and he had the right thought. He looked at second base to see if Moustakas had gone too far. He knocks it down but didn't have a play. It'll be an infield hit for Melky Cabrera.
This is a very aggressive team, the Kansas City Royals, and the only chance that McCoy had was if Moustakas was a little bit too aggressive coming around second base, thinking that that ball was in right field, but he picked up his third base coach and held up at second base to give Cabrera this infield single. Puts his arms up like finally.
Finally, he was 0 for 4 and finally got an infield scratch hit. Billy Butler is homer tonight. 1 for 4, but it was a long one. Now has 71 ribbies for the season.
$15 hits now for the Royals tonight, but that's not even close to their season high.
They had 21 hits against the Rockies in Colorado. That was back on the 3rd of July. Early fireworks. 21 hits. 16 runs on 21 hits in that game.
They've hit some balls hard tonight that have gone out of the ballpark, and they've gone for extra base. They've also hit a lot of balls like the one we just saw, just under the glove of a diving infielder, a ball that's finessed out into the outfield.
Melky Cabrera's at first. Mike Moustakas is at second. 2 outs here in the 8th. Joe Carreño trying to keep it a 3-run game. One thing that's difficult for a pitcher like Carreño, who has a good breaking ball. Big league hitters will lay off those borderline breaking balls. They're going to make you throw it over, and you're going to have to throw it over to the point where they're going to want to swing. But right now, they're showing a lot of patience.
They don't miss pitches like they do in the minor leagues, meaning hitters not missing pitches. You might throw a fastball right down the middle to some hitters in the minor leagues, and I don't care. 7th, 8th, 9th in the line, doesn't matter. Up here, they're going to hit it. And they're going to hit it hard.
And they will swing at those breaking balls in the dirt.
In the minor leagues.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll chase. Billy Butler, 3-1, 2 outs. McCoy broke in behind the runner at second, and Carreño stepped on. Adam Lynn, boy, he has really gotten more comfortable as he plays further and further off the bag. There's that breaking ball. Good pitch.
Fastball count. He pulls string. Throws a slider. Butler had a pretty good hack at it. Just missed it.
Full count, 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. Billy Butler trying to take advantage of runners in scoring position. Carreño wants to see another sign. Now Molina's going to go out and have a chat.
Well, he's catching him for the first time in a big league game, so he'd like to know what he wants to throw here.
Well, and good run producers like Billy Butler will hit breaking balls with 2 strikes. And in the minor leagues, you could just flip a breaking ball up there and a guy will flail at it. But run producers in the big leagues, they're great 2-strike breaking ball hitters. 3-2, 2 outs. They're runners. Breaking ball cut out and missed. Carreño gets out of it. A little bit of a fist pump from the young right-hander. He keeps it a 3-run game. It's 6-3. Now it's time for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio here at Rogers Center. Live online and on your Rogers smartphone. Now available for all Rogers customers. Sign up today at RogersOnDemand.com. Now, Blue Jays have to figure out something against Bruce Chen. He has really shut them down. Just one swing of the bat that came in the 6th inning, a 3-run home run by Yunel Escobar.
He has pitched 8 innings twice this year. The last time he threw 8 innings in a ball game was back on July the 20th versus Chicago when he had a no decision.
Brett Laurie tries to bunt to get on. Seven, 8, 9 for the Blue Jays here. Chris Getz comes in defensively, takes over at second base. Laurie waiting on that Chen pitch was late.
Chen has been doing that all night long. He has had the Blue Jays looking for one pitch and he throws something else. And then the Jay hitters change and then he changes. You've seen a lot of pitches fouled the other way.
And that's a pitch that you don't see lefties throw too often, a sidearm pitch, because the right-handed hitter can see it so long.
Yeah.
But he's mixed it up consistently all night long.
He's thrown a sinker from down there. He has thrown a slider from down there. And he doesn't do it all the time.
This ball is popped up into right. Francoeur over into the corner, but has plenty of room. One out here in the 8th. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, what a story Sean Burroughs has been. And, you know, it's kind of fitting that here in the week of the Little League World Series, Sean Burroughs was a star for Long Beach, California in the Little League World Series. Came to the big leagues very quickly. That's off the glove of Bruce Chen. He knows he's got time with Molina running and throws him up. Well, Bruce Chen made a nice play knocking that ball down.
He got off the mound quickly, but then you're right. He realized who was running, and then he gathered himself and made sure he made this play. Knocks it down with his glove, looked like another cutter, and just pounces on it, but then slows down, gathers himself, and then makes a good strong throw to get Molina at first base. Good reactions right there. Field yourself, field over the baseball.
Mike McCoy, the number 9 hitter. McCoy had an infield hit and scored on the 3-run home run by Escobar. McCoy knows exactly what his assignment is here, is to get on base. However he can get on. Counts in his favor, 2-0. Chen just never gives you 2 pitches from the same release point or at the same velocity.
Yeah, it doesn't double up on pitches. You know, fastball count, he dropped down and threw an off-speed pitch.
And another thing that might get overlooked in this start is the fact he hasn't shaken off his catcher too much. 21-year-old Salvador Perez behind the plate. McCoy does his job. He gets on base. That's the first walk of the game issued by Bruce Chen, and it comes with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Ned Yost, a very deliberate walk to the mound. Yost has made the call to the bullpen. So Bruce Chen will go 7 2/3 here tonight. Will give the baseball up. But what a good start. He is looking to win his 4th game in a row. First time in his career. He's won 4 straight. Congratulations from the manager. Acknowledgement to the umpire. New pitcher coming in. Holland has been terrific. This will be his 34th appearance of the game, and he has taken over that 8th inning role for the Royals.
He certainly has, pitching in front of Joaquim Soria. 155 earned run average in 33 games. He was originally a 10th round pick in 2007, made his way up through the farm system of Kansas City. He has been a reliever his whole career. Lots of strikeouts, 54 of them in those 46 innings. This is probably going to look like the ball's thrown 100 miles an hour after following Bruce Chen and everything that he threw up there tonight.
Well, it can't get any worse. They've had only 4 hits. You might as well try something better and go after the hard throw. Yunel Escobar's 2 hits tonight. And there's that good fastball, 97 miles an hour. We mentioned Escobar hits very well in this ballpark. Coming into this game, he had a .313 career average. Mike McCoy, 2-out walk. He's at first. Perez and Holland having trouble getting together on the signs. To give you an idea how good Holland has been this year, he's inherited 24 base runners. McCoy will be the 25th he's inherited. He's allowed 1 to score. That's the best in the major leagues among pitchers with 20 or more inherited runners. Eric Thames on deck.
That's what you look like. And you need, when you have a guy pitching late in the game, throw strikes, pick up strikeouts. Got a bullpen full of a bunch of hard throwers. You're the Royals.
There goes McCoy, cut on and missed. No throw at all for Perez. McCoy steals it. Perez didn't have a chance to make a throw. McCoy got a running start.
Yeah, but Holland wasn't even paying attention to him. He goes 1,001, 1,002, and then goes home. Doesn't give his catcher a chance to even throw him out, so you've got to do something here. 5 stolen bases now for McCoy as he gets himself into scoring position.
A ball and 2 strikes on Escobar. Check swing, and John Hirschbeck didn't ask for an appeal. He throws a hard splitter and a hard slider, and it's difficult to tell one from the other. And then he's got that 97-mile-an-hour heater that forces you to start the bat early.
Start a little bit early, and then you're susceptible to that off-speed pitch.
Bouncing ball to third. Moustakas has it. Goes to first in time, and Holland gets the job done. He has done a great job with inherited runners. He strands another. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected, here's Martine Geyer. Big start tonight, and he got off to a great start. He retired the first 9 he faced.
He gave up a single then in the 4th inning. That was quickly turned into a double play. And tonight, 9 strikeouts, which sets a season high for Chen. Throwing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He went with soft stuff, hard stuff, in and out. Really had the Blue Jay batters guessing all night long.
92 pitches through 7 2/3, and for Bruce Chen, those 9 strikeouts represent tying his career high. 3rd time in his career he has had 9 strikeouts in a game. 1st time since 2001.
Not bad for a guy who's facing the Blue Jays for the first time since 2006.
Now Cosmer, he put Bruce Chen up with a leadoff home run in the 2nd. That was the first hit in a 3-run 2nd inning. This time he hits it hard, but right to the second baseman. He ends up with 3 hits and 5 at bats to this point. Jeff Brancourt, the right fielder, has had a good night as well. 3 for 4, a couple of doubles. He scored a run. Batting .279. We mentioned Brancourt was rewarded with a contract extension on Thursday. He had an interesting trip to Toronto this time. He had let his passport expire. So on the off day yesterday, he had to get up and leave Kansas City at 6 in the morning, fly to Chicago, and apply for a new passport.
All right, who does he know? Because that's impossible.
No, you can do it if you have a planned trip. I did the same thing this All-Star break. Picked up a passport the same day. As long as you have a trip within 2 weeks going international. Brancourt has another hit. His 4th hit tonight. 6-3 lead here in the 9th inning. Kansas City has a very good closer. Joaquin Soria is loosening up. You mentioned the back end of the bullpen has been very effective, and you can see that Craig Holland got a big arm, and he has served as a setup guy of late. And of course, they have the All-Star Aaron Crow, who made the All-Star team as a rookie.
Yeah, as a setup man. I mean, that's how good his first half was.
Chris Getz batting for the first time tonight. It came in defensively. 88.
So I guess he got his passport.
Yeah, he got his passport. He had to wait around a while, but got his passport and made his way up here. He also got to see his pal Brian McCann. They had lunch while he was waiting for the passport to be finished. McCann was in town with the Braves in Chicago. .6-3 Kansas City leads here in the top of the 9th. Johnny Giovitella started at second base. He ended up 2 for 4 tonight with a couple of RBI. Fly ball to center. Rasmus retreats. Easy play. 2 down. We'll be right back here tomorrow night. It'll be the 2nd of 3 against Kansas City. Luke Hochshaver against Ricky Romero. Romero 12-9 on the season with a very good .273 ERA. 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's the start of the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. And Ricky Romero looking for his 13th win. Coming off a shutout of the Oakland Athletics, winning 7-0. Salvador Perez, the catcher, takes a wide one. Perez has had a single and a triple. He too, like Giovitella, has driven in 2 tonight. Tell you what, Pat, there are an awful lot of good young players around baseball. I mean, 20, 21-year-olds.
Yeah, they're not 24. I mean, they're 21, like Brett Lawrie, Henderson Alvarez,
Mike Stanton of the Marlins, Salvador Perez, 21.
Jason Hayward had that tagged last year as a very young player. He really hasn't been able to get through the injuries, but he's got talent.
That's a foul ball just outside of third. But it's good for baseball. Everybody needs young players to put their hopes in, hoping this team in Kansas City grows together as a team. They've got Moustakas and Hosmer and Perez and Alcides Escobar. Lorenzo Cain is still in the minors. He's projected to be their everyday center fielder.
Gordon really come on this year in left field.
One and two, 2 outs. Breaking ball popped into center field. Colby Rasmus who did it. The Royals are down in the ninth. The Blue Jays will bat in the bottom of the ninth. They trail by 3. Eric Thames, Jose Bautista, and Adam Lynn. Thunder coming up for the Jays. Trail by 3. Kansas City Royals closer Joaquin Soria comes in. Boy, Greg Holland had a third of an inning, made quick work of Yunel Escobar. Now they turn it over to the closer.
And he got off to an awful start this year. You see the 7 blown saves for Joaquin Soria. He's turned it on a little bit better in the second half. He has been an all-star in his career. Last year for the Royals, he saved 43 games. And it was an all-star, and he's back to forth. Got a good fastball, a good slider.
Pitched an inning on Sunday in a non-save situation and a loss. He threw 8 pitches in that game. They hadn't pitched in 4 days, so he needed the work with the off day yesterday. Eric Thames takes the first pitch down. Soria with just 16 walks in 52 and a third, so he'll give you something to hit. Right now, the Blue Jays need a couple on.
Yeah, get a couple on. You mentioned the big bats that are coming up for him. And this has been a problem for Soria, falling behind.
Bautista on deck. Jose has struck out twice tonight. He's 0 for 3. Blue Jays with just 4 hits. Adam Lynn also a pair of strikeouts. 3-0. Got to take a couple here. There's a strike, 3-1.
I'm with you. I think you have to take a couple of pitches. He's going to throw the same pitch 3-2 that he's going to throw 3-1. make him get it over.
Three and one. Thames leading off the bottom of the ninth. Rips it into right. That'll get past Francoeur, go all the way to the wall. Thames running to second. Here's the throw, not in time. Leadoff double for Eric Thames. Good rip of a 3-1 fastball.
It looked like he tried to cut the fastball inside, and he wasn't taking. He was swinging all the way, and he doesn't miss it. Rips it into right field for extra bases. A good start here in the ninth inning. It's not a given when you hit a ball like this that you're going to get a double. All three of the outfielders for the Kansas City Royals can throw. Jeff Francoeur, 12 assists, which is 4th in the major leagues. Makes it close at second.
Jose Bautista has gone 0 for 2 against Soria in their head-to-head matchup. First pitch strike. Soria is kind of a unique closer, and he doesn't have a particular dominant pitch, but it's the combination of pitches, and it's not unlike Jeff Montgomery, the fine closer the Royals had in the 80s that pitched so effectively.
Yeah, Montgomery had over 300 saves for the Royals in his career. Soria is basically a fastball, a little bit of a breaking ball like that. He'll cut the fastball also. But it's a nice free and easy motion, a lot like Mariano Rivera, but not with the movement that Rivera has. More of the nice and easy, and all of a sudden the ball explodes on top of you.
Ball on the strike. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Bautista thought he had a pretty good look at it.
Here's the big, they're going to stay away from it. That one looks like it was a pretty good pitch, just on the corner.
Like it touched the corner. 1-2. Way outside. You've got to believe he's going to come back with a breaking ball. Does he have so much fastball that might be a problem for Bautista? If he looks breaking ball here?
Yeah, and he throws him a fastball. Yeah, he's got plenty of fastball. That last one, free and easy, got it up there at 94 miles an hour. You're right. But Bautista all season long has done a good job of sitting on certain pitches and laying off those borderline pitches.
Now Soria wants to talk to his young catcher. Coming up after this game, Sportsnet East, you'll be entertained by Connected. Connected also on Sportsnet Ontario. More baseball on Sportsnet West. White Sox at the Angels. Sportsnet Pacific. It'll be the Padres at the Giants. 2-2. Nobody out. Thames at second base. Good fastball. 92 miles an hour, and he put it in a good spot. Bautista with 3 strikeouts tonight.
There's the answer right there. Fastball that really ties him up. You see Jose just can't get his arms extended to that ball as he pulls it in. Third time tonight that Bautista has struck out. Soria gets the first down.
Yeah, he's complaining about that breaking ball. He thought it was outside, and then that inside pitch looks like it's right in on your hands. Adam Lind. 1 out here in the ninth. The Royals scored 3 in the second and 3 in the fifth. Blue Jays scored their 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. The 3-run home run off the bat of Yunel Escobar. Base hit through the left side. Thames is getting the wave. He'll come in to score. Lynn delivers. It's a 2-run game. Boy, that's a good piece of hitting right there. That ball was down and away, and Lynn went right with it.
Yeah, and he didn't try and pull it. That's the whole key. You try and pull this ball, and it's a ground out to the right side of the infield. Stayed right on it, stayed over it. Let that ball travel, get deep, and you just punch it the other way. And on this turf, that will shoot right through the infield for an RBI single.
Thames comes in to score. He led things off with a double to right. Glenn picks up the RBI, his 73rd.
And just like that, the tying run strolls to the plate.
Edwin Encarnacion goes after that first pitch breaking ball, reminding himself to stay on the pitch. Encarnacion's only faced Soria twice. He has a hit in 2 at-bats. One out. Off the plate outside. Mark Tien has come out on deck. He will pinch hit for Colby Rasmus. Tien, a former Royal. Fouled back. Edwin Encarnacion certainly has power. 12 home runs so far this season. Blue Jays have homered the only runs they've scored until the 9th inning. 3-run home run in the 6th and an RBI single here in the 9th. Slow breaking ball he laid on. Blue Jays have the pop to get right back in the ball game. It was 6-0 when Escobar connected. A run in here in the 9th.
And Soria has given up 6 home runs this year.
Off the end of the bat. But that ball breaks a long way away. It looked like it was right over the heart of the plate. By the time Encarnacion hit it, it was probably 6 inches outside.
Just able to get a piece of it to keep his at-bat alive. He's looking for something out over the plate. You know Edwin Encarnacion is not going to get cheated. He is going to take a healthy cut anywhere in the count.
Lynn with the RBI single to left. He's at first. Thames has scored. 2-2. It's popped up on the infield. Escobar makes the catch. 2 down.
It looked like Joaquin Soria quick pitched Edwin Encarnacion. Instead of coming set and looking at the runner, it looks like he came to a very quick stop and then fired home. Watch him try to get set right there, and then boom. And that throws the timing off of any hitter.
Blue Jays are aware of this. They were talking about it during batting practice, and there's nothing wrong. He came set, but you anticipated it was going to be a longer set. And he did catch Encarnacion a little out in front, and that's what he's talking about. Mark Tien, the pinch hitter. Good rip at that fastball. Tien played for the Royals. He started his career in Oakland, but was traded to Kansas City in 2004 for Octavio Dotel. He had his best years in Kansas City as a regular.
The most productive years, power years for the Royals.
0-2. Hit .285 for Kansas City in 2007. Had an 18 home run season in 2006. Hit 15 in 2008. Right now, he'd love to come up with a single. 0-2, 2 outs. Soria strikes him out on 3 pitches. Kansas City wins it. Blue Jays score a run in the 9th against Joaquin Soria, but fall 6-4 in the opener of this 3-game series.
This game was all about Bruce Chen and what he did on the mound. 9 strikeouts pitching into the 8th inning. They then turn it over to their bullpen. The back end of the bullpen's been great for Kansas City, and they get the first game in this series. Flashing some muscle. Billy Butler went deep.
Couple home runs for Kansas City in the opener. They get 6 runs on 16 hits. Stay tuned for Connected in Easton, Ontario. On the other networks, more baseball coming up now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night.